I'm Holly Constant.
And I'm Maddie Hockaday. We really love Parks and Rec, and we really love behind-the-scenes details.
So we're researching everything from DVD extras like deleted scenes and commentaries,
plus interviewing cast and crew who actually worked on the show.
We also bring on guests and friends to geek out about everything parks.
So join us, you tropical fish.
This is literally the best Parks and Rec rewatch podcast.
We're your park pals.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.
Awesome. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We're finally to April and Andy's fancy party. This is crazy. I have in my notes that I'm like, I don't know. Now that we're really watching it and like analyzing it by episode, it is pretty insane that they're getting married right now.
Oh, it's insane. They even say we've almost been dating for a month, which is insanity to me. So yeah, right. And I have to correct myself because when I was listening to Harvest Festival, I realized that I said that this episode was right after, but it's not. Obviously, because now you've heard Camping Trip, but yes. Yeah. So, but still really freaking close to when they said I love you to each other for them to be getting married. Know. So
totally. Mike Schur apparently is quoted as saying, "We just thought about who they were, two impulsive goofballs who don't approach their lives in a responsible adult manner and decided, what the hell? What if they just make a rash decision and get hitched?"
Yeah. And then stay married for all of it.
Yeah. It's the best like relationship I feel in the whole show. It's it's like the Monica and Chandler, the kind of grounding one throughout the show, you know?
It really is. Yeah. Not the relationship you think would either, because in Friends, you think it's going to be Rachel and Ross. And
but they're the most destructive of all.
Exactly. And then, in this, I mean, you would think that Leslie and Ben would be the most grounding, and not that they aren't, but I mean, April and Andy are just constant throughout the show. So
right, and they've got a lot going on, Leslie and Ben. So
that's true. Yeah, I know. I made it so deep into season 3 after watching this episode. Right?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They were the writers were at a writing retreat also, side note, which is kind of cool to know. Like, this is how they came up with the idea. They thought it was a really weird but a good idea. So I thought that was really interesting to know. Yeah. But yeah, okay, so let's get into it. Season 3, episode 9, Andy and April's Fancy Party. This was written by Katie DuPold, who we know from Beauty Pageant and a bunch of other amazing episodes on Parks. Friendly reminder that she played the night guardian, if you will, who doesn't want to run animal control. But yeah, that was really funny. And then this was directed by Mike Trim, who we have talked to on our podcast. I believe this is his first one that he actually directed, but he has been DP/cinematographer for a couple of episodes before this. So go listen to his interview when you can, because it's really interesting. And then I just have a couple of like fun facts, I guess. I'm taking after, I mean, I always do this, but especially this time I was thinking of Jenna Fisher in Office Ladies. Like, I guess fun fact number 1 or whatever she says. Fast fact, but these are not fast, so I'm not going to say that.
She should have called them Fisher facts.
Oh, yeah, that would be so good. Yeah. We'll write in and tell her. Okay, so just a reminder / fun fact, but I did say this, I believe, in Ron and Tammy, that they tried to keep this wedding a secret, but NBC accidentally ran a commercial advertising this wedding 2 months earlier, after the episode Ron and Tammy Part 2. And Mike Schur said the promo was meant to refer to Ron and his ex-wife Tammy, obviously, but later admitted that it was an error. So they tried to cover it, and he's quoted as saying hopefully the audience is cool with us gently lying, quote unquote, to them to like keep this secret. But they tried to cover it by saying it was Ron and Tammy for this promo, but it was actually Andy and April.
Well, and it hits different when you know they're getting married. The first time I ever watched this episode, like that's an experience you need, because I didn't watch it. I don't think I watched it when it aired, so I had no idea that they were going to get married in this episode. Yeah, which is how I feel like you should experience it the first time.
Totally. So I'm cool with him lying. That's fine. Yeah. But also, like, what a really awful mistake. Who did that? Like, crazy. Yeah. Apparently there was a 2-week break between camping, which was our last episode, and this one. So I don't know why exactly, but that happened. So just FYI. And then, go ahead.
So you said they filmed Harvest Festival in October?
Yes, as far as I know.
Okay. So I'm almost wondering, I don't know, because they do stuff out of order all the time. I don't know if it was like Christmas or they took Thanksgiving off or something.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. That
Not
could be.
That's important.
That could be for
but...
sure. Yeah, but I always love hearing the shoot schedules, trying to figure them out. Yeah. Yeah, could be. Partial inspiration for this was Dan Gore, who said his parents got married after 2 to 3 weeks, apparently, and it worked. Like, they've been married ever since. And all the writers at this writers' retreat were talking about all the different, like, crazy wedding stories that came up in their own lives. And so that's kind of what happened. And that's just, like, really wild. And reminder that Dan Gore is a producer on the show, but he also created Brooklyn Nine-Nine as well with Mike Schur. So, yeah, pretty
That's crazy.
I know. So, okay, I have summary written. I'm ready whenever.
Yay. All right. We have this week on Parks and Rec, April and Andy are hosting a fancy dinner party, which actually is more like a potluck with a big surprise. Anne tried to get back out in the dating world, and Ben is trying to decide if he should return to state government or stay in Pawnee.
Yay. I know. Oh my gosh. The Leslie and Ben story is really heating up in this one.
I know. I have so much psychological analysis for you.
Oh my God. It's crazy. Okay. I can't wait to hear it. All right. So this cold open, they are having this. This is such a famous cold open. They're having this meeting and it's such a famous cold open. You guys have to go watch. I'll probably post it in stories. You have to watch the bloopers. It is hilarious. Ron says he has tooth pain and he keeps like grunting and all this stuff. And he's pulling out his tooth. And it's just hilarious because in the blooper, his whole mouth plate comes out, or tooth plate or whatever comes out, and everyone laughs. And it's just like, it's so funny. I'm not doing it justice, but it's probably on YouTube somewhere, but I have it on the DVD extras, obviously. It's hilarious. I love it so much.
It's a great cold open.
I also love that Donna says, I'm not street parking my Mercedes, because that's what the whole meeting is about.
Well, that's what my question was, is what are they planning? Because they talk about the garbage cans, and then I'm not street parking my Mercedes, and then Ron says, what were we talking about? Recycling? Like, I'm kind of confused as what they were meaning about.
So they're redoing the lines in the parking lot is what Ben says. So they're so they have to, like, they're reconstructing the parking lot basically. So everybody has to move their cars. And that's what I think. It's just, honestly, I feel like it's just a housekeeping meeting. I feel like they're not really planning anything.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't sound like they're
really
planning anything. It's just more of those like check-ins, the logistics of the office type thing.
Yeah, totally. Then it's revealed that Ron says the dentist actually pulled his tooth out yesterday, but he just wanted to demonstrate to his coworkers that he can withstand a tremendous amount of pain. Plus, it's always funny to watch Tom pass out. Yeah. It's so cute. It's so funny.
The way he's laying. Yeah. And I love April here too. Like, she looks so interested. Like, oh my gosh, is he actually going to do it? And then he does it.
Yes, like so excited.
Bolts out the door.
Oh my God. Like, everyone runs away. Did you notice that Leslie was the only one that stayed and just was kind of staring at him like creeped out, obviously, but she was not scared or like, running out the door.
I don't know if she's surprised that Ron would do that.
Yeah.
I think she's just like,
so funny.
Dude, why?
Like, why would you do that here, sir?
I love how fast Ben runs out of the room. Like, he's the first one and he's like out.
Yeah, he's done. I would imagine that he would pass out too, which is hilarious.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh my God. So yeah, okay, friendly reminder, I said this already, but yes, Ron is wearing a tooth plate. He did not actually pull a tooth out of his head. And then after the cold open, we have Andy and April coming in, and Andy's wearing roller skates for whatever reason. Don't know why, but he's Andy.
I don't know if we need a reason for Andy.
Yeah.
It's just who he is.
Who's to say?
Yeah.
And he says that they're all invited to a dinner party at Burley's home, though, because he does not have a home, which I love that line. I think it's so funny.
He lives with Burley at this point, though, right? I think he's still living there.
Yeah, he's still living there.
Okay.
Anyways, okay, moving on. Okay, so it is revealed that they've been dating for a month, which is what they say, and you already said this, but I just thought that was really funny that like they actually say it and remind us. And also it says that shortly after the episode's original broadcast, in my research, I found that NBC started a fake wedding website about this wedding called Andy and April's Awesome Sauce Wedding, which included photos and a guest book website that visitors could sign if they wanted to.
That's really cool.
I know. I think it's so precious.
Yeah, it's cool. It makes it an interactive too.
Yeah, 100%. And then it turns out that they are requesting things from each of the guests. Donna is requested to bring cooked steak, which is freaking hilarious. In the deleted scene, I was going to say, in the deleted scenes, there's a scene where Leslie says she brought wine that was requested. Because as you get, and I guess I could have saved this note, but I just thought it was really interesting as far as what people brought. When you get to the actual party, you don't really get to see if anyone actually brought any of the things that was requested of them. And so there was a deleted scene where Leslie said she brought the wine and silverware. And Andy is like, did we ask you to bring that? And Tom walks by and was like, oh, hey, I forgot the silverware. And Andy's like, you're the best to Leslie, because in this scene, the cold open scene or whatever, Tom is requested to bring the silverware. So I feel like she's the only one that actually brought anything that was requested of her, which totally makes sense.
Yeah. No, and that's accurate. I have a note about that later.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I like that Leslie is saying we're all going, and Tom is like, there was a boys' sale at Dillard's. That's so funny. Like, he'd rather go to that
so much. Yeah. I love how she's so into this, right? And it's funny to see how she shifts because she's like, we're supporting them 100%. We're all going and showing our love and support. And then it flips pretty hard. When she learns why we're there.
Yes. It's crazy. Yes, I have thoughts on that too. Ben, okay, this is where we talked about, and I asked Mike Trim about it because both of the episodes that he directed had Avatar mentioned in them, or not directed, that he was like a part of, I think, like during this time.
Because he was part of the one with Andy Samberg too. Yeah?
Yes, talking about Avatar. Yeah. And because Ben is invited to bring, or requested to bring rather, Avatar, 50 pairs of 3D glasses and a 3D capable television. And I asked, obviously, Mike Trim, like when you listen to that episode, you'll like kind of get his vibes and understand that wasn't really a question that he could probably answer anyway. But I don't think there was anything like technically in the writer's room about it. I just feel like maybe that's something I could write in and ask like one of the producers or something. But I think that Avatar was just a big deal at this point, and they just decided to bring it up quite a bit.
Yeah, it was a huge deal when it came out. I remember that. Yeah. It was like the talk of the town for quite some time. Yeah. So that
Which, by the way, Avatar 2 is coming out next month. Woo!
Oh, I didn't realize it was that close.
Yes. I'm so excited.
Oh, dang.
It's going to be great. I'm just kidding. I don't know if it's going to be great, but I'm going to watch it. Yes, it's on Disney, you guys. Go watch the first one. It's really good. Okay. All right. So now I'm at where... Oh, yeah. Ben and Leslie are talking. Do you have anything before that?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I have a lot about that, though.
Okay. So Ben and Leslie says that, or Ben and Leslie are talking, and Ben says he wanted to see her, and she's like, oh, yeah, because he wants advice on whether or not to go back to Indianapolis or stay in Pawnee, because he has two options now, which is very precious. It's really funny. Leslie has no idea what to say, first of all, and I feel like this is definitely Ben's way of feeling out whether or not she wants him to stay, whether she likes him, all that kind of stuff. Totally hear what she's saying. I would do this too. I really related to Leslie. It's so dumb. I was like, because she said, look at it from all angles, like you've put in 12 years, like what's the pros and cons? And I wrote that note about like making a pros and cons list before I remembered that she says make a pros and cons list, and I was like, oh my god, that is freaking hilarious. But it's so awkward how they end it. Good talking to you, good stuff. But anyway, what were your
handshake
thoughts?
Yeah, no, I have a lot of thoughts here just because you can tell Leslie wants to tell him to stay. Like you can tell she's like toning herself down, and Amy Poehler does such a good job of acting because you're like, you can tell what she wants to say, but that she's like trying to compose herself. And to me, it's like she wants to tell him to stay, but she doesn't want to tell him to stay and then not have things work out for him. Like, she doesn't want to be the reason.
Yeah.
The only reason he makes the choice too.
Yeah.
So I feel like she's trying to take that role of, I have feelings for this guy, but I want to come at it as a friend.
Yeah.
Because that's what I feel like she would do this for a friend. Maybe not Anne. Anne, she would say you need to stay here no matter what.
Right.
But I think she would present it as, here are the good things about staying here, the bad things about staying.
Yeah.
So I think she's trying to rein herself in and be a friend rather than show her cards.
I mean, plus that kind of alludes to they don't know what they are yet. They haven't even really talked about it. They've just kind of been like flirting on and off, but they don't really know what's going on. You know what I mean? So it totally makes sense.
I mean, they haven't like told each other that they have feelings for each other or anything.
Yeah.
Yet. So
yeah.
I also have something else because she said that it's Pawnee is the best city in Indiana or the United States or possibly the world. And so I did look this up.
Oh, okay.
Because I was interested. So we'll start with the world.
Okay.
I didn't do Indiana because I didn't feel like it was fair.
Yeah.
Because Pawnee isn't actually a city in Indiana.
You mean like how they're rated kind of thing? Like best places to live?
Yeah, they're like the world's 10 best cities in 2023.
Oh, okay, cool.
So this is for diversity, cultural programming, safety, number of parks, and sunny days.
Oh, perfect.
Is what this is based off of for the world specifically. So I will start from 10 and go to 1. So 10, the 10th best city in the world to live in is Amsterdam, Netherlands.
Oh.
Which I thought would be higher because I've heard great things about that place.
Yeah.
Number 9 is Singapore. Congratulations to my mom for living there.
Very clean, I've heard. Got it.
Yes, yeah. Number 8 is Madrid, Spain. Number 7 is Rome, Italy. Number 6 is Barcelona, Spain. Spain has 2 on here, by the way. Number 5 is Dubai of the UAE. Number 4 is Tokyo, Japan. Number 3 is New York City. Number 2 is Paris, France. And number 1 is London, England.
Okay, interesting. London is in there.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, well, the London and New York threw me off a little bit because they're so expensive.
Yeah.
And not I don't remember London that well, but New York is not a clean place. So I was like, I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah. So I also have I looked at a top 25 list for the United States. This is for literally the best places to live. I'm not going to go through all 25 because we don't got time for that. But I will tell you, Holly, number 25 is Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there you go.
Cool.
Number 10 for the United States is San Francisco. Number 9 is Sarasota, Florida. Number 8 is Portland, Maine.
Okay.
Number 7 is Fayetteville, Arkansas. Never heard of it. Number 6 is Raleigh and Durham, North Carolina. I've heard great things about North Carolina. Number 5 is San Jose, California. Number 4 is Boulder, Colorado. 3 is Green Bay, Wisconsin. 2 is Colorado Springs, Colorado. And number 1 is Huntsville, Alabama.
What the hell? That's weird.
I know, right? That's what we said because I read this list to Ivan when I looked it up because I was like, this is so interesting. Let's look at this. So I'll list this out because this is a benefit. And I think this is why they're saying it's a good place to live. The average annual salary is $58,000 a year. And the population is under 500,000. So it's not super big. The home price, the average home price is $192,000. I know. So Ivan was like, "What the heck, Huntsville, Alabama?" And then I read those things, and he's like, "All right, I guess we're moving. Roll Tide. Let's go."
That's so strange, though. I mean, I don't know. I mean, just because the housing prices are good doesn't mean it's a nice place to live.
No,
I mean, not that I've ever been there, and there's no disrespect. I was just saying, I don't know
if that's really data. All. I mean, I didn't read the entire explanation they have.
I'm surprised San Diego didn't make it up there or something, because that's a really sunny, happy place, I feel.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about San Diego. We went to San Diego together.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Cute. So, yeah, I don't know. But the picture looks pretty.
Oh, yeah. That's Huntsville? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
I do think that it's a little bit more city / not as, I feel like when people hear Alabama, they have a bad, it has a bad reputation.
It does.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It does.
Which, I get it. But, yeah, that's really interesting to know.
Yeah. So, in case anybody was looking into moving.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway,
okay.
That intrigued me because I love that we find that Ben loves Pawnee as much as Leslie does. And so the fact that she brings that up is nice.
Yeah, I agree. I love that. Cute. Okay.
Also, how does she know that he's been working for the government for 12 years? I mean, I guess they probably could have talked about it, but that's such an interesting piece of information to know about someone you've only known for a short amount of time.
Right. Yeah, I feel like she would probably have talked about that or like researched him or something. You know what I mean?
I can see her doing that. She Googled him. I love it.
Exactly.
That's how she did it in my head.
Or maybe they talked about it like that one time at the bar when he was explaining Icetown and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like he probably mentioned how long he might have been in the game. You know what I mean?
That's definitely true. He could have done that for sure. Okay.
Yeah. Well, now I'm at where Ann is at the singles night. Do you have anything before that?
No, I don't. But I have the name of the bar.
Oh, okay. What is it?
It's Mezzy. Not the bar they actually filmed in. Or I'm probably butchering that. It's Mezze. That's the name that was outside the building where they then go in to see Ann. And I looked it up because it was interesting to me. It means appetizer in the Mediterranean.
Oh, okay.
And I found 3 different places where they actually have bars or restaurants called that, Mezzy.
Wow.
And one's in Auckland, the other one's in Massachusetts, and another one in Manhattan. I'm sure there's more than that, but those are the 3 that came up with like their menus and stuff. And so it mostly looks like they do like alcohol and then like tapas type thing. So I guess that's like the Mediterranean version of tapas.
Like small plates kind of thing.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
But anyway,
that's really cool. I'm glad to know that there are places like that in real life.
Yeah. Yeah. They all look super cool.
Sounds fancy.
Yeah. They do look fancy.
And vibey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, cute. Okay. I love this lady who plays like the host/coordinator lady. I love her line of, "Are you asking me how to flirt with men?" Because Ann's like, how do I do this? What even goes down at a singles night? Yeah.
I loved that. And I put myself in that actress's shoes and I'm like, imagine having to be sassy like that to Rashida Jones.
I know.
I would feel so awkward because I'm like, you're so obviously more cooler than me. And I'm going to just say this really sassy line to you. That's how I felt in that moment. I know. But it's such a great line and she delivers it so wonderfully.
Oh my God. I love her like little smile, smirky thing at the end. Like, oh, okay, I'm the host. Here's what we're doing. It's so cute. This gal who did that part, this actor, is named Tanya Cornelise, I want to say. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but Tanya is known for Yellow Jackets, which is a TV show. I need to watch that. I've heard such good things, but I haven't watched it yet. And then she's also known for a TV show called Sisters, which she also wrote an episode for. So she's also a writer. She was on Scandal. She's been in a ton of stuff. But yeah, she did a great job. And I just love how Rashida Jones acts this. Like she's really good in this episode where she's trying to get back out there. This shot is perfect. It's like, it's as awkward as it could ever be, like with the drink going by her, like right in front of her face. She plays that, and it is awkward. I love that so much.
Yeah, I think it's great. There is. I love the whole episode. She does a great job, I think. Yeah,
totally. And there is actually this. I don't know if you would consider it an alt or what, but they shot this another way. In the deleted scenes, there is her doing this same line, but in the parks department. Like she's talking to Leslie about singles night, which I think I wrote about it a little bit later, so we'll get to that. But she's talking to Leslie, and then she has a talking head, like in the parks department, like open area, like whatever common area thing, and she does this same line of like, it's awkward, and she's like in her scrubs and stuff, and it's just, it doesn't land as comedically as this one does. So I'm glad that they changed it.
That's good.
I thought that was interesting. Okay, so now they are at April and Andy's party, which we don't know yet is not just a party. Do you have anything before that though?
The only thing I have written down before that is that Ann has a smiley face on her name tag. And I was like,
oh, I know.
You're trying to pick up guys.
Yeah,
it's cute. It's
I
very
know.
Ann.
It's precious.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I noticed that too, for sure. Okay, yes. So now we're at the party at Burley's house. Jerry is talking about his new shirt that Gail got him. And I think it's really funny. But, I know. Okay, so I was going to tell you about the deleted scene. I thought it was later, but it's right here, actually. So I was wondering if Ann was actually invited to this party, because obviously she's not there. She's at the singles night. I was like, did she even, know this was happening? What's
and
the
she
deal?
Wasn't at the parks department when they were passing out the invitations either.
Right, exactly. So, and then same thing with Donna. Donna just chose not to go.
Yeah,
but
I know. I have that note later. I didn't realize that until 15 minutes into the episode. I was like, wait, Donna's supposed to be at the wedding.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
She didn't. Yeah, she was like, okay, whatever. But okay, so this was exactly. So the deleted scene where she does that line, the awkward line, at the parks department. Right before that, she asks Leslie to go to this singles night with her, and the singles night is in Eagleton, apparently, which is really funny. But Ann is basically like, "Do you want to be my wing woman?" And Leslie's like, "Well, wait, you didn't get that invite? You're not going tonight?" And Ann was like, "Oh, that explains the crumpled up invitation that April threw at me." So April and Andy technically did invite her, but it wasn't very clear and it wasn't very welcoming, or
Checks
inviting,
out.
if I could be a pun. And then so basically she was like, "No, I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna go to this thing. I want to try to put myself out there a little bit more." So I'm glad that they explained that, even if it was in a deleted scene. I mean, I guess it doesn't super matter, because it still comes as a surprise to both the audience and us when Leslie calls Ann. But I think it's better that Ann was invited. To me personally, it just makes more sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. It also makes sense to me that this bar or whatever is in Eagleton, because it's super classy.
Super
that
fancy.
definitely feels the Eagleton vibe a little bit more.
Yeah, 100%. I also think it's worth mentioning that Leslie, during this scene that Ann asks her to go with her, is eating a fruit salad and hating it. And she's like, all mad about it. And Ann was like, "Well, did you even ask for whipped cream?" And nobody said anything about it, but it's alluded to that Leslie is mad that there's no whipped cream on it. And Leslie's like, "I shouldn't have to ask. They should just know. Who doesn't have whipped cream on fruit salad?" And I thought that was really funny.
And accurate.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Okay, anyway, so now Tom is laughing at Jerry's shirt, which we were just talking about it. But I do think it's nice that Gail got it for him. I think it's really precious.
Too. He looks like Charlie Brown.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. A shiny, flashy, gay Charlie Brown.
Yes, 100%. That's exactly what he looks like to me. That shirt looks like Charlie Brown's shirt.
Oh, well, that's so funny. I didn't even think about it like that. But that's so true. The way that it's, designed.
The ziggy zag thing.
Yeah. I noticed, too, that there were really strange decorations in this house. There's a weird cardboard. Yeah. There's a cardboard cutout thing that looks like someone made it, behind Leslie at minute 4:15, if anyone is interested. There's beer cans squashed together that's supposed to look like a light, but is hanging from the ceiling, mannequins, a bunch of stuff.
That's what I caught. I thought it was at first I thought they were balloons. And then I was like, those look like crushed up cans. So you think they're lights?
I don't think they're actually lights. I thought that they looked like they could have been a light fixture, but I really think they're just crushed cans hanging from the ceiling, and they're just naming them as decorations,
Accurate.
I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. I'm glad you caught that too.
I didn't see any light in there.
No, it's really weird lighting in this entire house, really.
Interesting.
But I think it's cool because it gives you that, we're in someone's house vibe and we're not messing with lighting and stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably really intentional to do it that way. That's true. This is a sound stage, by the way. Okay. It's not inside of an actual house. So in case that matters to anyone.
Now, would that be accurate for every time we're in Andy and April's house? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, and even Ann's house is a set. The outside obviously is a real house, but it's pretty crazy. They make it look so lovely.
Yeah, they do a great job. And I have that note later, but they just have certain things around the house that I'm like, that's so the effort that people put in to make it actually look lived in, and that people live there. I mean, you don't really think about it just watching, but it's when we're analyzing everything and you pick everything out, it's amazing what effort they put in.
The detail is insane on this show. I mean, just in the camping episode, Brooklyn picked out so many insane things that Tom had or like Ron had. I mean, it was wild. And that's stuff that I didn't even notice, but it's just like, yeah. And they have like road signs that I'm guessing they stole or something that are hanging on the walls inside of Andy and April's or Burley's house. It's just like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Apparently it got super hot in there because it's a really small space and there were like 30 or something extras.
Yeah, that's a lot. There were a lot of people.
Yeah. But then this is when Leslie is warning them about Orin, and this is our first time we are hearing from Orin.
Yes.
He's standing in the corner. We don't want to say anything personal about ourselves to him, says Leslie, which is really hilarious. Orin is played by Eric Isenhower. This is our first time seeing him. Like I said, he has been in a lot of things. Workaholics, The Middle. Looks like he was in an episode of Friday Night Lights. Super excited that he's here. And apparently his character idea was in Time Capsule. And because we talk about, because April has like a flyer of him or his show or something like that. And that was really, and she wanted to put that in the time capsule. And apparently that idea was really appealing to Katie Dippold, which is the writer of this episode. So she decided to bring him like in real life. And I have a super crazy surprise. He sent us a voice memo.
Oh my gosh.
I love
excited. Him. And as scary as Orin is to me throughout this show, just the way he's played is just absolutely amazing. And I love him. So I'm really excited.
He did so well. I asked him all the same questions. It's a little bit of a longer one because I didn't cut it up, but I feel like it's perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this for you.
Hey everyone, Eric Isenhower here, or as you probably know me, Orin from Parks and Rec. Really excited to be on the show and to talk to you all a little bit about April and Andy's fancy party. So what was the audition like, and what details do I remember about the sides or anything like that? So the audition was actually pretty interesting. As anybody familiar with the character knows, Orin is a creature of few words, right? Not really the most verbose. But for the audition, they had actually prepared a pretty lengthy scene between myself and Tom. And they were clear this is a scene that'll never be on the show and the character will never talk this much. But they did want to make sure that the actors really sort of understood the essence of the character. And the gist of the scene was basically that I, Orin, had cornered Tom like in the bathroom and was really like impressing upon him existential dread. It was a pretty funny scene, actually. And they did have a few notes for the character. One of the things they said was... he was weird, he was creepy, but he was not a vampire. And I don't know, I guess this was like sort of the height of vampire mania with like True Blood and Vampire Diaries and Twilight, so maybe they were trying to avoid that. So he was not a vampire, but he maybe had a 1,000-yard stare. And the really interesting note that they had was they said that he maybe talks a bit like John Malkovich, which I thought was really fascinating. So I sat down and I listened to some John Malkovich interviews. And if you listen to him talk, he does kind of have sort of a sing-songy voice up and down. He has a very interesting lilt. And I tried to sort of seize onto that and use that as a great hook for the character.
Okay. So what I was saying was that it's kind of crazy about John Malkovich. If we haven't heard him, or you could just Google him, but he's like a super famous actor. He was also in Space Force, which is really funny. But...
He's the... He's Steve Carell's right-hand dude, right?
Yeah, exactly. And he really does have like a very lilty kind of sing-songy voice. So I think that's really interesting. And I definitely think Orin, now that he says that, had that too,
100%, yeah.
In terms of, was I really connected with the character right off the bat, or did I have to, put it on? This was a character where, to me, I thought the most important thing was just to go in there and to play and have fun, right? Sometimes if you're doing a more dramatic piece of material, you sit down, you figure out, okay, what's the character experiencing? How can I make that real? Whatever. But, for this show and for this character, to me, it was so interesting and so sort of out there. It was like, we're just going to have fun. We're going to play with this. We're just going to make some interesting choices and have a good time and see what happens. And thankfully that seemed to work really well, and yeah, so that was the audition process. I was lucky. I just had to audition once. I didn't even have to do a callback. And they just sort of said, when I got on set, like, hey, just do what you did on the audition. Like, you got it. Do I have any memories of being on set that day in April and Andy's wedding? I remember just having a really good time, generally, first and foremost. It was a great set. Everybody on the show, really friendly, very welcoming to me. I remember being in hair and makeup and Amy just coming right up and introducing herself. And, if you haven't worked sort of in the industry, people who are series regulars don't necessarily have to do that. It's not really considered obligatory for anybody to come up and introduce themselves or make conversation with you. So the fact that, everyone did that in Parks and Rec really speaks very highly for the cast. Really wonderful people across the board. Interesting memory I do have. So because it was a party, they had actual food on the set as props. And for whatever reason, I don't remember I don't remember the circumstances that led to this exactly, but basically we had an ant problem. There were ants on the set because of the food. And at one time, actually, there was an ant. It must have crawled overhead on some of the lighting rigging, and it actually fell onto Aziz's face. And he had to stop and knock an ant off of his face. And he was fine, of course. Everything was fine. But yeah, I've never been on a set before or since that had an ant problem where there were pests attacking the main cast. So that was interesting. In terms of makeup, hair, wardrobe. So I don't really normally sort of have that look. I don't wear quite that much black. I do have a fair complexion. I do have sort of the dark circles under my eyes, which, maybe that gave me a leg up. But hair and makeup definitely took it to an 11 when I got there. So a lot of white makeup, a lot of really accentuating the dark circles under the eyes. One of the interesting touches during the first 2 episodes I did was they glued on these long, sort of creepy acrylic nails. And if you look in the shot where I'm holding onto the goblet of what may or may not be blood towards the end of the episode, you can sort of see these long, creepy nails. And in future episodes, I think they just painted the nails black, kept it simple. But for the first 2 episodes, you can really see and appreciate those beautiful, long, creepy nails. How was it to work with Rob Lowe and the rest of the cast? As I said, really wonderful. Everyone was really friendly, really welcoming, really down to earth. Made conversation with me, asked how things were going in my career. Was I enjoying myself on set? People were very, friendly. The character seemed to be working. People seemed to really find Orin very funny, so people weren't shy about kind of coming and saying, "Hey, this character's really funny. This is great. We hope you'll be back." So they were really friendly. One of my favorite moments actually was a deleted scene that I believe is available on the DVDs, where I have a dance-off with Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe has the dance circle going, and there's a moment where I enter the dance circle and do some creepy, bizarre, interpretive dancing of my own. I believe that's available on the DVD extras, but that was a particularly fun moment with Rob Lowe. Anyway, thank you so much for having me on the show. Really had a great time on set. Hope you guys enjoyed the show as much as I enjoyed making it. And maybe I'll talk to you guys again. But for now, I have to go.
That was amazing. He was wonderful.
He's great. I would love for him to come on in like an Orin heavy episode. Yeah,
I told his agent that we would definitely be reaching out to him again if he, when we get to some more of his episodes. So hopefully that happens for us.
That'd be great. Yeah.
I love that he said Amy Poehler was really nice. That is such a through line throughout everybody's journey that they tell us. I did not see that deleted scene that he's talking about. He said he was dancing with Rob Lowe. I would have loved to see that, but I didn't see it in the DVD extras, so maybe it's somewhere else.
I kind of want to see what it would look like, because how do you keep Orin in character and have him dance?
I know.
So
who's to say? Anyway, so yes, thank you to Eric Isenhower for that. Go follow him on Instagram. We'll tag him and make sure that you guys know where to follow him. But that was awesome. Okay, so now Chris comes in and Leslie asks what he brought. He was asked to bring a cake, but he actually brought a vegetable loaf. and that it's like so funny. I love how Ron gets so mad, and I also think this moment is so much better because of the steak moment that Ron and Chris had, where Chris thinks portobello mushrooms are just as good as steaks. So Ron's tolerance is like very low for Chris, like
messing with his food stuff. It's so funny. It is. It's like, I love how mad he gets. He's like, but did they ask you to bring cake, or did they ask you to bring vegetable loaf? He's like so mad.
Oh no, a cake. But this is so much healthier. Oh my God, Chris, it's not your party.
Can you, this is what I have to say. If I showed up to my wedding and there was a vegetable loaf instead of the cake, I would have been so mad. So
awful.
I don't know how April and Andy responded to that, but.
Yes. Go take a walk, Ron.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so now we're back at singles night. Anne is trying to figure out what she's doing, and she spots Donna, and she's like, oh my gosh, it's so nice to like see you here, or friendly face at these things. It's always nice. And Donna is like, every man for himself. I love Red in this moment. I know that like it's not nice necessarily, but I just love her energy of like, we're in the jungle. If you get a man, I don't get that man. And I love how she looks at dating. Like, I love this energy so much.
She's great. I love this whole, I mean, I always love Donna as a character, and just the energy she has and her overall confidence and vibe. I think it's great. Part of me is also like, Donna, you and Anne are not into the same types of guys. Like, I feel like Donna would not be caught dead dating Chris or Andy.
Yeah. I feel like she would have sex with them.
That's fair.
I feel like she doesn't really have a
That's fair.
person that she like has a type necessarily. Well, she's just like, there's a man, I want that man.
Yeah, that's true, because we don't really, I guess the first person we really see her date is who ends up to be her husband. So that's fair, I guess. But I'm also just like, I just don't know. I was just like, I feel like you care too much about this at the same time.
It's definitely that competition energy.
Yeah, but I do love the energy.
Yeah. And Anne is really confused. She's like, what? You're the one that told me to do this. Yeah. And she's like, you're the one that gave me this advice. And she was like, here's some more advice. Beat it. Yeah. I love that.
But I think so Anne is so used to Leslie, you know, and
that's
having
true.
Those kinds of friends where it's like they're a team all the time. And Donna's just not that way.
She's confused. Yeah.
So
yes, absolutely. Tom and Ben and Leslie now are talking at the party, and Tom says that he heard you might be Ben might be leaving Pawnee. And it's really cute because Ben looks at Leslie when he says he's thinking about it, and it's really precious. And Tom says, you're a huge nerd, but I'd be sorry to see you go.
I love that.
Which I think is really precious because that's his own, in his own Tom way, he's trying to be nice.
Yeah. It's cute.
So then Leslie thinks that this party needs some help, and she's trying to take control of everything. I love that Orin is standing in the background too.
Okay, sorry. I have a note before we move on from the Tom, Ben, and Leslie. Ben obviously did not bring Avatar, but it looks like he brought a bottle of champagne. That's what he's holding. Nice. So I'm assuming that's what he brought instead of Avatar. So going back to what you said, nobody actually brings what they're told to bring.
Yeah.
Like he did. He also did not. But he brought something rather than not bringing anything, or like Donna just not showing up.
Right. Champagne is nice and more appropriate than he thinks, probably.
Yeah. Oh, I know. He had some forethought there.
Cute. Love that. All right. So Ben says that he wasn't a fan of Peter Jackson's interpretation of Lord of the Rings because Tom is like, so what are you going to do? Like, you know, go on a New Zealand walking tour kind of thing. And I don't really understand. I've read the book and seen the movies, and I'm not mad about the interpretation at all. So I wonder what he's thinking behind that.
It's kind of a toss-up because there is a good group of people who read the books and did not like the movie interpretations. I think it's more so with The Hobbit. I think there was more complaints about the Hobbit movies because it was that really weird time. You remember Harry Potter was like, the 7th book is too long, we're making it into 2 parts, and all the people who love Harry Potter were like, yes, you absolutely have to make this into 2 parts because there's too much stuff going on. But then Twilight did it with the 4th book, and I read the 4th book and I was like, you don't have enough stuff here to make 2 movies. What the fuck are you doing? And The Hobbit is shorter than the Lord of the Rings book, and they decided to make 3 movies out of that. And so I think a lot of people were like, why? Like, and now you added scenes in there that weren't in the book. So I heard a lot more complaints about The Hobbit, but I do think there is a good group of people who were fans of the books that didn't like the interpretation. But I like the movies.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I feel like the Hobbit movies, and I need to watch them again. I really do. But I wasn't a super huge fan of the Hobbit movies as much as I was the Lord of the Rings. And I will say, I mean, Harry Potter, I feel like they cut out so much integral stuff that needed to happen, but like Lord of the Rings, I feel like they took out what they needed to take out, and like half the book, and I'm sorry if you're a Lord of the Rings like super mega fan book wise, half the book is talking about traveling through different types of grass, okay? And I'm sorry,
that's true, we can just look at that in 10 seconds.
Literally so many pages of grass, okay?
Very true.
But I will say that I just started the first episode of the Amazon series for Lord of the Rings. It's so good.
Is it?
So good. It's beautiful, and I think it's really good. As far as, I mean, I haven't finished it obviously, so I don't know, but it's more of like a prequel situation to Lord of the Rings. So like you see all of Galadriel and Elrond young, which is really interesting.
Cool. Okay.
But anyway, so, okay, back to Leslie trying to take control. She's saying that maybe you should put out more food to Andy, and Andy's firing up the bagel bites, which is hilarious and really funny. I just think it's funny, too, that they said it was a dinner party, and there's not really dinner anywhere in sight, which, I mean, I know it's not really a dinner party, but, like...
It's a potluck.
You know what I mean?
Holly, it's a potluck.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like at the end. Like, I was like, this isn't a dinner party, this is a potluck. And to be fair, their steak person didn't show up with steak. But also, why are you asking someone else to bring steak?
For like 8 people too.
This kitchen scene is one of the things where I'm like, oh my gosh, they put so much effort into like it making look lived in, because there's cheese balls on the counter, which you might remember was a big deal in The Office as well, the cheese balls situation. So they have that on the counter. I'm assuming that's Andy's and not Burley's, if I was to make a guess. But then Leslie also opens up the refrigerator, and there's Tabasco sauce, there's orange juice, peanut butter, pickles, butter, Italian dressing, and then like you can't really see anything else below, but like they stuff the door, which is a lot of effort, first of all, for it to not be someone's actual house. And second of all, very accurate for, I feel like, everyone's fridge door. So just the effort, agreed. I think, was wonderful here.
Yeah, and they had that little, the little whiteboard on the fridge too, which is really true. I wrote down what was on there, but I don't know where that note is, so I'll get to it when I get to it. But yeah, and then I love all those catches about the fridge. And April walks in, and Andy tries to hide his face, and the bagel bites fly everywhere, but April's like, you have to look at me and tell me if I look good, and Leslie's like, what's going on? And then they reveal that this is actually their wedding. They're getting married. I love this line of, we're getting married to each other. In case that wasn't clear.
I love it.
And then Leslie keeps going on and on about, like, why is this happening? Are you pregnant? Are you sick? Are you terminal? Is it like that Walk to Remember movie?
Such a good movie.
And April keeps saying yes and freaking Andy out, which I think is funny.
Yeah, I know, back and forth. And it's like, dude, you would know.
I know.
She would tell you.
I think it's really funny, this proposal story, because this is kind of the epitome of like what works for the couple doesn't work for everyone, because that story of the proposal, if you will, was just not romantical at all. And because Andy's like, well, what if we got married tomorrow? And April just said, fine. Yeah. And I was like, cute. And I was the same way where Leslie's like, okay.
Yeah. But like you said, what works for others might not work for, for us. So, and I think it's
here's the whiteboard thing
for their relationship.
Oh yeah.
So
definitely. And the whiteboard fridge thing says, Andy, stop eating my food. And Leslie blocks part of it, so I can't read the rest of it, but I'm guessing Burley left that note for Andy.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
I just also love how unaware they are of how the world works. Like, they think that getting a condo or a house is just like super easy, and Leslie's like, you can't just get a condo.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite lines. You can't just get a condo. Fine, a house then.
I know. Yeah, like, you're right. A house. I also love this line. I think it's one of my favorites, where Leslie says, relationships take planning. You can't just jump into something without thinking. It took me 4 years to find the right hairdresser, and we still fight all the time. I love that so much.
I feel like there's a very beautiful in-between Leslie and Andy and April. Like, they're underthinking
they're both
it.
Opposite sides of the spectrum.
Yeah. They're like, we can't stress how little we thought about this versus Leslie, who I feel like puts way too much thought into things sometimes, which I think is really beneficial for her. But sometimes it's like, just take the leap, girl. Do it.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So now Leslie's. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, when Leslie goes off and she tells Ron and Tom, is Chris there too? Who else is there? I feel like it's just Tom and Ron, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's just Tom and Ron right now.
Okay. I was like, Leslie, that's not your information to tell. Like, obviously, they built this together to be a surprise. And it makes me sad because once we get to the part where Andy actually stands up and says, surprise, it's our wedding. It's like, it's not a surprise because the information got around because, so I know what Leslie's trying to do here. She's trying to get people to be on board and help her kind of rationalize with them. But at the same time, I'm like, it almost took away that factor that they were hoping for.
Yeah, and she's like just trying to control everything in pure Leslie fashion. And it's just like, I have this note too. I'm just like, I don't really understand why she cares that much. Like, I get caring and being like worried for them, but like trying to block the entire thing, I guess that's a Leslie character choice. But I was just like, why are you so freaked out about this? Yeah,
it's intense. And like the fact that, I mean, we'll get to it, but the fact that she calls Ann too, it's like.
Yeah, that's really selfish. And that was a bad move.
Yeah, really bad. That's selfish on all accounts. That would have helped no one.
Right, exactly. So after Leslie tells everyone, Tom's like, whoa, that's what Julia Roberts did. And Ron's like, is that toothy girl from Mystic Pizza? Which I think is so funny. I need to watch that still. But if anyone is not familiar with what that is, it's a classic apparently. And I didn't know about the Julia Roberts secret wedding thing, but Mystic Pizza was a 1988 movie that was based in a town called Mystic. And there's 3 waitresses at a pizza shop that talk about how they're going to leave their small town and they have super big plans. It was also a big deal in the indie world, like won a bunch of indie awards, which is really interesting. So yeah, pretty cool. Yeah. I do like, to your point, I like that when Leslie asks for Ron to talk to some sense into them, Ron's like, that's not my place or yours. So like, let's stop.
He's her anchor almost all the time. Like when she gets into that full-fledged go, I gotta fix this mode, he oftentimes is the person. And later it kind of becomes Ben, but right now it's really Ron who kind of helps bring her back to earth.
Okay, so now I'm back at the singles night if you are. Anne is so awkward.
So awkward.
Her first question is, what's your occupation, to this guy she's talking to? Not like, what's your job or what do you do or how's it going? What's your occupation?
Yeah, there's just the most weird way to phrase that.
Yeah. And then she jokes and says that she has the same job as him, but then she just laughs because she can't hear him. She doesn't know what he said. And I'm like, what? I know I've definitely done this before where I'll just like shake it off if I can't hear what they're saying, especially if I've asked 100 times. But now I swear I will ask somebody like 8 times to hear what they said. I don't know why I do that now, but I'm just like, you have to talk to me again because I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't even put in the effort to hear what he actually said. She's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and she definitely could have asked like at any moment, wait, what'd you say? Or something.
Yeah.
This actor that Anne is talking to is named Sean Parsons. He was in Justified, Rutherford Falls, which is another Mike Schur show with Ed Helms. So good. If you haven't watched it yet, it is on Peacock. He was in a short with Nick Offerman, which is interesting, called The Gunfighter. And he was also in Law & Order SVU. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He's also a producer and a writer and a musician. He plays a lot of guitar videos on his Instagram, which is really interesting. So that's cool. And then he did send me an email, but I haven't heard back from him yet, but I'll read what he emailed me. He said, it was my first proper TV gig and I was only on set for a few hours, although I loved it and still appreciate the hell out of that gig. He was like, if you think there's a story there, I'm happy to help. And so I sent him the questions and maybe he'll get back to me, but that's okay if he doesn't. Cool to know that was one of his first like quote proper TV gigs. So that's interesting.
Definitely.
And then Donna witnesses this, and she's like, what the F? Like, are you Nell from the movie Nell? Which, by the way, so many movie references in this episode, which is hilarious.
We're on our 3rd or 4th. Yeah.
Yeah. Nell is a Jodie Foster and Liam Neeson movie. For those of you who do not know, Jodie Foster plays Nell, who lives in a cabin. Like, she's a hermit woman, basically, and doesn't talk to anyone. And that's what Donna is referring to her as.
Which is not far off from the social interaction we just witnessed from a grown woman who has no she's never shown social qualms in the past.
Yeah, it's weird. Chris really effed her up, I feel.
Yeah, I think she was a very confident person. At least I think when she was dating Andy, she was very confident because I think she knew that she was the one settling.
Yeah.
And she knew, like, when she compared herself to Andy, she was more stable, right? And then I think Chris kind of tilted her on her axis, and now she's just a tornado of confusion, and I don't know who I am anymore.
So Donna takes pity on her basically and is like, okay, I'm going to help you. But before we get to them helping, we are back at the party. Are you there yet?
I am, and I have a little bit of trivia, not like questions, but some information.
Okay, go
because
for it.
Andy is now no longer in his flannel. He is in a Reggie Wayne jersey, who played for the Colts. He was a receiver for the Colts. And he was born, funnily enough, this upcoming Thursday will be Reggie Wayne's birthday. He'll turn 44.
Oh my gosh, happy birthday, Reggie Wayne.
Yeah, he was born on November 17th of 1978, which is crazy to me because when I think of people born in the 1970s, they're 30 years old, and now he's almost 44, which is blowing my mind. He played 14 seasons with the Colts, and then he ended up signing a 1-year contract with the Patriots in 2015. And he stayed on for 10 days and then requested to be released by the team. And then he announced his retirement the following spring. So he never played with the Patriots. I don't think he ever went to a practice. He was signed on for 10 days and was asked to be released. And then he's number 10 in all-time receptions, number 10 in all-time receiving yards, and 24th in touchdown receptions. So he's ranked pretty high up there. Andy is getting married in a very prestigious jersey there. He has he's done a good job. So yeah, I thought that was interesting information.
Yeah, totally. And also this is a callback because April gave that jersey to him. So I think that's really cute and precious. And that's also going to set up some foreshadowing for when we actually get to meet Reggie Wayne in the episode later on in the series, which is wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Happy birthday to him.
Yes.
Tom goes up to Andy and says he knows what's up and asks if he can be his best man. That seems super weird to me. Like, you're not supposed to ask that question, but that's okay.
That's like awkward.
Yeah. The talking head of like the duties of a best man, or like what you get to do as a best man, like you make love to the prettiest bridesmaid, usually standing from behind. Did you get that? Did you hear that? Why is that allowed?
I heard that. I decided to take no notes on it because I was disgusted and was like, I'm not even touching this. It is very weird.
Strange.
I've heard of there being weddings where groomsmen and bridesmaids get together, like to hook up afterwards, but like it's not that common.
Not a responsibility, or like
it's not a responsibility. Well, that's the thing too, is Tom is very selfish. You notice that nothing he said was in support of Andy. It was in support of himself and what he's going to get out of being best man, not how he's going to help Andy, you know?
Right. There is a deleted scene that I think he tries to, which I will play for you a little bit later, but yes, you are right. Okay. But now Leslie's in the bathroom with April trying to talk her out of this, and she brings up again the pros and cons list. I love this line of, you need to get in the bed. Get in the bed. You need to go to bed.
Go to bed.
This so much. And then we find out that her middle name is Roberta, and that Andy doesn't know, like they don't know their middle names.
They don't know each other's middle names. Yeah.
Sad and scary.
His is Maxwell, as we learned later.
I know, it's so cute. I love that.
I like that one. Yeah. There's a mouse rat poster next to Leslie's head.
I know. It's so funny that it's in the bathroom.
Yeah. I tried to figure out, I was like, what and why? But it looks like it's just a poster you would hang at a bar, and they probably just took the extra one because I think it's the bandmates, right? And then it looks like it would be the address of the bar or the time that they were performing at the bottom. Yeah. I tried to zoom in.
Yeah. But yeah, it said mouse rat, and that's what's most important. I love this talking head that Leslie has about dating a Civil War reenactor, and she found out he wore those clothes all the time, and he was married. But that's like the clothes thing was really weird. I just love these dating stories, how they come up for Leslie. Like, I just wonder who thought of that and who keeps thinking of all these crazy things for her. It's just really funny.
And how many people has she dated?
It sounds
Holly?
like a lot.
Because we had a long list of bad first dates when she first started dating Dave. Mm-hmm. And then when she picked up Ann, because she realized that Chris had broken up with her a week ago, she had more stories about bad breakups. Mm-hmm. And then now we have 2 new stories in this.
Yeah, she's tried.
Episode. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So now we're back at the bar with Donna and Ann, if you are.
Yes.
Cool. Donna says, scribble your name on the name tag to make the dude work for it. And they have to get a closer look to read your name on the name tag. I love that she does her classic ordering 2 shots of Jameson for herself. And Ann's like, oh, I don't want that. And she's like, not for you. You want to be available, but not too available. Don't make eye contact. I love that so much.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Now we're back at the party. If you are, do you have anything before that?
Nope.
Okay. Andy is basically asking everyone to be a best man except for Jerry, which I think is amazing and a great choice. I also love that through this all, I didn't really realize it until he said it, that Chris and Ron has helped April and Andy stay together. And it almost seems like they have this like super storied past, which I guess they do. But for them only having dated a month, it's just really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then side note, so Tom is passing out cigars in this like montage thing. I don't know if that's right here or where it is, but basically all those people that he is passing out cigars to and the people that are standing behind Andy at the altar are his brothers. This was a deleted scene. Okay. He has 7 brothers and they all got cut. And then the one that he hugs at the altar is his mom.
He has 7 brothers?
Mm-hmm.
Because in the Halloween episode, I believe Chris Pratt says I grew up with 5 brothers.
Oh, okay. It said he has 7 brothers in the thing, but perhaps it was wrong. I don't know. He has a lot of brothers. We'll just leave it at that.
And if they deleted this scene, why not change the number later? You know,
exactly. That's true.
So, just interesting.
Yeah. Derek and the other Ben are back, who April dated at one point, and Andy asks them to be his best men too. And Tom's hearing all of this and is like, dude, what the F? And then this is when Tom asks if there are any strippers there. Oh my God, it's like so dumb because he's trying to throw him a bachelor party, but it doesn't work. And this is kind of where, the thing that he tries to do helps, or the thing that Tom tries to do. I'll play this deleted scene really fast. Basically, I'll set it up a little bit. But basically, there's like a velvet rope or whatever, and John Ralphio is there, and they have like a laptop with all these like pictures of naked ladies. And so just keep that in mind. Okay.
Oh wait, you are, because it's your bachelor party. I called in the big dogs. John Ralphio.
Oh, Andrew, my Andrew. What's up, baby?
Do you think?
Uh-oh, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do, huh? What's he gonna do?
I'll just get the party started and boom!
Look at that sweet honey shaking that for you.
Whoa. Yes, she is very pretty.
Yeah, no, I should know. She's my cousin. By marriage, not weird.
Are you sure we can't get any real girls?
Not enough time, T. Not enough time. We can make it rain.
Make it rain!
Woo!
I don't think you like it, man.
I love that they use John Ralphio again because he's just there to kind of help with the speech at one point, and you don't really see him again. So it's cool that he had another scene in there that they just decided to take out.
Yeah, and it's just like so silly and dumb, and Andy is not into it. He's like, okay, this is weird. But anyway, so that's like one thing he tries to do, but again, it's like super weird. But then this is when Leslie calls Ann to try to get her to stop the wedding. And like I said, I love Leslie, but this is not a good move. Like you have to think about like, does this going to hurt or help the person that I'm talking to? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
it's so dumb.
It doesn't help anyone. It's going to end up hurting Andy and April. It's going to break her relationship with April that she's worked really hard to build because April's going to be like, screw you for trying to mess this up for me. And then Ann, like it messes up everything for Ann. Like she's trying to do better. She's trying to find herself, and you're going to ask her to go back to her ex-boyfriend?
Yeah. Really stupid.
It makes me sad.
I do love that she says after like 3 seasons already, she's like, hi, hi, Ann, it's Leslie. Leslie know from the Parks Department.
Yeah, I know who it is.
Like, oh my God. But again, I just don't really understand why Leslie cares so much. And then this is where the dating story of her telling us about a dude she loved. She tells a dude that she loved him underwater, and he shot up really fast and got the bends because we're just talking about the bad dating stories and doing things too fast and whatever. I looked up what the bends actually were, which I know what they are in theory, but I don't understand why they were called the bends, quote unquote. But I'll just read this. It's called decompression sickness is really what the bends is. Yeah. And it's generalized barotrauma, or the bends, refers to injuries caused by a rapid decrease in the pressure that surrounds you of either air or water, which, if you scuba dive, the air and water pressure changes. The bend term refers to joint immobility and pain caused by gas bubbles forming in the blood and body tissues. These bubbles often accumulate in the joints, such as elbows and knees, and then they hinder mobility, which causes a bend in the joint and a bent appearance. Did not know that. So anyway, I thought that was fascinating because I never again I was like, bends? What? Anyway. So now Orin and Ben are talking, and Ben is like, no, Orin, I don't know how I'm going to die. And then he's like, wait, are you asking me or telling me? It's so hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then we get into the Brita filter. Like,
yes.
He's like,
I don't know. It depends on how frequently you use it.
Yeah. So I looked it up just in case people wanted to know. You're supposed to change it every 40 gallons of water or every 2 months.
Okay, gotcha. I was going to say I change mine like every 2 or 3 months. Yeah. So, okay, that's good to know.
And whichever one comes first is what I'm assuming. So if it takes, 4 months for you to hit 40 gallons, it's, different. But I'm just like, that is so sad that your Brita filter lasts longer than their relationship has already lasted. I thought that was a really fun way of putting it in perspective.
Absolutely. That is funny.
Yeah.
And she has this reasoning that they're about to ruin their future, which, I guess could be an answer to my question of why does she care so much? But I just don't get why she gets so upset, I guess when you feel crazy because no one else is acting the same way as you, I guess it can make you even crazier, which maybe that's what's the deal.
And if she was different, right? We haven't gotten any red flags throughout these seasons as to why there would be a subconscious reason, like she feels, why am I not married at this age? I don't get that vibe from Leslie, right? So that would be a reason I would be like, okay, I can understand these 2 young kids. You're like, oh, you don't know yet. And how can this be happening before I get married? But that's not Leslie. Yeah. And we have no signs of that being who she is. I think.
It's coming from love, I guess, because she wants them to have a future, but whatever. You know what I mean?
But at the same time, we all have to make our mistakes to learn and grow. And I think there's a bigger benefit of her keeping her relationships with April and Andy than pushing them. And a lot of times we know April, there's a really clear way that she's going to just push April away if she doesn't support her.
Right. That's real. So then Andy finally makes the announcement that it's happening, and he's trying to be classy by saying it. If you would do me the obligation of having your honor heretofore in the room doth right over there hence. And they're like, what? Big event in that room, 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. Which I love. I love the madames and Miss
Swaz.
Miss Swaz. He gets there somehow, but
I know,
it's not right, but he tries.
Right. So in this big room, he makes the announcement that the surprise is not a dinner party, but the wedding. I think this is really cute. April by Simon and Garfunkel plays, which is super cute as April's walking down the aisle.
And one of the very few times we have actual music playing, and a very well thought out reason to have music playing.
Yeah, totally. This song is actually talking about the month of April, but I definitely understand. This whole song is talking about the months from April to September and how each seasons change. But it totally makes sense. And a lot of Simon and Garfunkel is about, metaphors, names, and for actual things.
But it's also just cute. Beautiful. It sounds like a song you would play at a wedding. So it works.
Yes. And Ben and Derek are the flower boys, which is really cute. This was, I don't know if it is a deleted, there was a deleted scene where Andy asks Ben and Derek to be the best men for him. I don't know if like that's in the regular show. Okay, he asks them to be the best men, and I think it's Ben is like really like, I don't know, he's really weird about it. He's like, no, we can. April asked us to be the flower girls, like ironically, blah blah blah. And one of the other ones is just like, we can do it. We can do both. Because Andy asks them so nicely. And then so they both technically do. I like it. Oh, go ahead.
I really like because it shows, because the last time we really saw them, it didn't seem like they were ending on a very good note because April was like, screw you, I actually like Andy. And they were giving him crap for it. So I think it's a nice bring back of like, okay, they made up and she still has them in her life.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. April makes eye contact with Leslie as she's walking down, which I think is very subtle and cute that Shauna or Tom, whoever caught that moment, camera operating, was really wonderful. Andy is crying, which is hilarious. This Justice of the Peace is really interesting because it's not the same person. I was wondering if they were going to get the same Justice of the Peace at the Parks Department, the one who marries Ron and Tammy and Ron and Diane, but this is a different person. Her name is Kathleen Coyne, and sadly, it's really sad. Kathleen Coyne actually passed away in 2020, which is 2 years ago.
That's
I don't
really
know
sad.
what the cause of death was or anything, but she was so cute in this. I really loved it. She was 74. And she was in Fresh Off the Boat, Ouija, which I think is a movie. Who's the Boss? Like a bunch of other things. So it was so sad to hear that. But
yeah,
yes, she did great. And she says Andy's middle name, which is Maxwell. Love it.
Yes. Yeah.
I like their vows a lot. I think that their
too.
vows are so them. April saying she hates most things, but she never seemed to hate Andy. So I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Is that cool? I like that a lot.
Yeah. And I love that he says he's the luckiest man in the galaxy, which later he's the Guardians of the Galaxy. So
totally, I wrote that down too.
That's cute. Yeah, I just think you're so right. Like it's so them, and Andy getting off topic is very Andy and his ADHD brain. Like I'll fight everyone here for you.
Yes,
which is so
I'll protect
cute.
you.
Yeah.
Him. I don't care who I have to take down. And he says like him, but he's like looking at a woman.
Yeah, I think it's the Justice of the Peace.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean, yeah, but and we get to see Leslie kind of in the midst of this ceremony and their vows. She starts to smile and she seems less stressed out about what's going on, which is nice.
Yes. And then Chris gives the rings to Andy and Tom is like, what the hell, man? And it's really funny. And then we see our animal control guys. We love them. Harris Whittles, Rip, and our dude, Colton Dunn, who plays Brett in the show. They try to release pigeons after the ceremony's over. They're not even doves. They're just pigeons, which is so funny.
And they're dead, Holly.
I don't know what my favorite line is. I love the hairdresser line, but I really think that my favorite line is this one that Brett says where like the bird is dead when he throws him out. He's like, all right, so that one's dead. We know that.
We know that.
It's so dumb.
I love it. I cry. I like laugh cry every time that scene happens because I forget about it. Funny. And then every time I watch it, I'm like, that's right. He's going to throw the dove pigeon.
Right. Oh my God. Well, and then this is when Chris is like dancing weirdly to jump around, which is hilarious. And April's like, WTF. Chris's dancing is always fun and awkward to watch. One of the good things that I did hear is that Rob Lowe said he actually chose that song, Jump Around, and he asked if they could do it. They researched it. They got the rights and all that stuff. He said he queued it up to the exact place he wanted it to be, and they did one take. And so the reactions that you see from the cast are real.
Wow.
Like
That's
they
cool.
didn't really, rehearse it. And he said that his top 3 favorite things that he ever did as Chris was the stop pooping, this dance, and the take me out to the ball game thing that he does in the studio with Mouse Rat.
Gosh.
So funny.
Absolutely adore that scene. It is one of my favorites ever, and I can't wait till we talk about it.
Me too. Fun fact, at minute 14:37, my friend is an extra in the background standing next to the old lady. Her name is Dina. I don't know if, or Deanna rather. I don't know if I messaged her, but I don't know if she has the same number, which is really sad. But anyway, I thought that every time I watch this, I'm like, oh my God, that's my friend. So yeah, that was really fun. And then speaking of the grandma, her name is Pat Crawford Brown, and this is the last, hopefully sad thing I'll say, but she also passed away in 2019, which is very sad. So she did a great job too, especially when she has her little speech. She was incredible. She has 184 credits on IMDb, which is amazing. She has been in Community, Days of Our Lives, How I Met Your Mother, General Hospital. If you watch Desperate Housewives, she played Ida Greenberg. So many things. So
wow,
really love that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Very cool. And I love how Chris comes up and he's like, no one can top that. And Tom's been so excited about his best man speech.
I know. He's like, let's just not even do that. Let's just dance.
Yeah. But it would have been awful if he did what John Ralphio told him to do.
Oh my God. All the Vince Vaughn quotes. Oh my God.
Yeah. More movie references.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Wedding
there were
Crashers.
3 there, right? Because she said Wedding Crashers or what was the other option?
Oh, but yeah, the Santa Claus one or something.
No, Fred Claus is the one he says you choose the quote from.
That's right.
But I can't remember if it's Wedding Crashers and something else that he was supposed to choose from, and then he said no, Fred Claus.
Yes.
It's crazy.
This is where Ron brings Leslie a drink out on the patio. Do you have anything before that, though?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Yeah, this is, again, that moment where he's kind of trying to be the anchor. Ron's like, you wouldn't have been able to stop it by doing anything because deep down, it wouldn't have mattered. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. And Leslie, again, just thinks that they're ruining their lives. But, again, we've talked about this has kind of been a through line accidentally, I guess. But this is what it's meant to be, I suppose, where Ron's like, who's to say what marriage works and what doesn't? Like, you find someone and you roll the dice. Like, he's pointed out that he's been married and it hasn't worked. So whatever, but like he was in love. And then Leslie's like, weren't you married 3 times? And I love this so much. Ron now gets to burn another ex-wife effigy.
He's almost excited that he divorced her again. So that
yes. You dip it in paraffin wax, this ex-wife effigy, and toss the flaming bottle of isopropyl alcohol from a safe distance.
I love that change in tone for that. It's
it
great.
Sounds like he's just describing a Molotov cocktail, basically, like burning things. Like, where is he throwing this? Hopefully in like the lake or something. You know what I mean?
A trash can or something, maybe. One of those metal trash cans.
Maybe. But side note, isopropyl alcohol, for those of you who don't know, is rubbing alcohol, and paraffin wax is basically Vaseline. So just wanted to let you guys know that. And then now I'm at where April's sister is giving a speech, if you're there too.
Yes.
Okay. Her real life name is called, her real name is Millie Jo, but she has a musician stage name as well. She's also a musician, MJ Noble, if you'd like to follow her. She's a singer, performer. I messaged her multiple times, but I haven't heard back, but it's awesome. I love her in this episode. So good. I love that she says, my sister is lame, but Andy's sort of cool. Also, if anyone finds my gray hoodie, I lost it. And April is crying. Like,
I know.
She didn't even say anything. I think it's so funny.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes.
And then
this is when John Ralphio comes. Yeah.
Sorry, I jumped the gun.
Vince Vaughn quote from Fred Claus, Andy's ex-girlfriends. Oh, Love Actually quote. That was the third one. Hold back tears. Get out of that bitch. Mic drop. And Tom thinks this is so mind-blowing. And I'm like, what? But
they both just play so well off of each other. And luckily, like, as the seasons go on, we see growth in Tom, and he kind of starts to realize that what John Ralphio says is not always the best. So that's good. But right now, he's still in John Ralphio has the answer to all things zone.
Yes. And I think it's kind of great. I mean, going off of like Leslie caring so much, it's kind of great that like literally no one else cares. Like, they're all very happy for Andy and April, and everyone's like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And when I was watching, I was like, even the parents are cool with this. This is so weird.
Oh yeah. April's parents are like smiling, like so happy for her.
I have a deleted scene to kind of explain this a little bit. Okay. But it's really interesting. Okay.
Bess.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Ludgate. Hello, I'm Leslie.
Leslie,
Nope. Your daughter's boss for the past 3 years?
Oh, of course.
Well, I don't want to upset you, but I think you need to be aware of the fact that April and Andy are planning on getting married tonight.
We know. Isn't it wonderful?
She told us this morning, that little stinker.
I don't understand. Why aren't you freaking out? April's only 21.
I was 20 when I married Larry.
Leslie, 3 years ago, April brought a guy home that stole all of our bowls. And then there was Orin.
Every time he would come over to the house, he would leave a dead bird on the front stoop. like a cat.
Yeah.
Well, there was Derek. April dated him, and he was very nice, albeit gay.
Andy is so sweet, and he cares about her so much. And what else can you ask for your daughter?
Well, that does make a lot of sense.
Good.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to try to stop this from happening. Oh my God, I'm going to have to object. I cannot believe this, but I'm going to object.
Now, if you'll excuse me,
so it goes on more a little
happening.
bit about the, yeah. She has like a talking head where she's like, I'm gonna have to object. I'm gonna have to say that. It's weird to me that her parents pretend like / don't know her. I feel like that's weird.
How does April not mention Leslie? Although maybe April doesn't really talk to them.
But they knew Ron.
Yeah, but April has, not that she doesn't respect Leslie, but she connects with him on a much deeper level than she does with Leslie. They're just different.
Really
They're just the
weird to
same
me.
people.
Well, it's just weird to me that they seem to care so much about her life, yet they don't know Leslie. That's weird.
That's true too.
But
yeah,
it's okay. Whatever. I get it. These are the same parents that played the parents, when Ron comes over, which is nice. Dad is played by John Ellison Conley. The mom is played by Terry Hoyos. Neither of them have reached back out, but that's okay. We did a deep dive on them back in 94 meetings when they were here the first time. And I don't think that they meant, maybe they did. I didn't take it that Orin and her were dating. I just took it that they had they were really close and he would come over all the time.
Yeah, just a guy friend that she was bringing over. Yeah. At first I thought, that's why my face dropped. I was like, what? And then I was like, you bring guy friends over all the time. So that's fair.
Yeah. So now I'm back at singles night. And it seems like Ann is having better luck with these dudes. But this one guy proudly said he beat herpes, which I think is really funny. And then she says she's going to go home because she found out that Andy and April are getting married. And I love that Donna is like, so what? Do you want Andy or not? Because, if you don't want him, then what are you doing? And I love this line of, I don't know you, but I do know that you can fix your attitude. I just love that because I always have to remind myself, when I get jealous of anything, not just if it's romantical, but a lot of times it's really just FOMO. Because a lot of times when I see that, someone's doing something without me or whatever, I'm like, do I really want to go to that? Did I really want that? And I'm like, wait a second, I don't know if I do. And then I'm just like, oh, okay, it's just FOMO. It's fine.
Yeah.
We all have that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And then I put it into effort and this is the only night of the week that I don't have anything to do. Did I really want to go out and do something or did I want to stay home and chill? I definitely wanted to stay home and chill. So I no longer care.
Right.
But yeah. And I love this. I love her line, what you were saying. Why are you going to go sit at home and pine away after a guy you didn't even want?
Right.
That's how you're going to spend your time. I think Donna was a very purposeful placement in Ann's life at this time.
I was going to say, I have a note about that. I feel like she'd be really depressed if it wasn't for her, in a recluse and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Leslie is a wonderful friend. We know this. But I think there's a fierceness and unapologeticness to Donna that Ann needs right now. Mm-hmm. So, and we see a little bit from Leslie in that sense when it comes to the episode, The Fight, but it's out of anger rather than out of wanting to push her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and I think Leslie is just more supportive on the positive side, and Donna's more of what can you do to fix this, or not fix it necessarily, but you can change your attitude. Yeah,
you have control over half of this, really.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Love that. And then back at the party, Andy and Mouse Rat are playing. Side note, that drummer is not Mark Rivers, who is the one that played the drums for Mouse Rat and wrote all the Mouse Rat songs. According to IMDb, that is David Henderson, which is his only thing on Parks. So I don't know if he was an extra and they just sat him there. I don't know. But Alan Yang and Burley are there on their same instruments, which is really lovely. There is a deleted scene here when Burley comes in. Oh my God, it's so funny. And he's like, what the heck, dude? You threw a party? I told you if you're going to have a party, you need to tell me. And he's like, Burley, relax. It's not a party. It's my wedding. And Burley is like, you got married in my house and didn't invite me. And Andy's like, I wrote it on the fridge board. And they're like, and he's like, Burley gives him kind of a look of disdain and unbelieving. And he's like, oh, maybe I didn't, but forget about it. We got to play. And then Burley is super nice. And at the end, and he's all like, well, congratulations in Burley form. And Andy's like for what? And I'm like, oh my God, Andy, you're so dumb. I cannot handle it.
Also, how did you not invite your band to your wedding?
Right. Right. Well, I told Burley, I thought it was really funny because I messaged him and I was like, if it wasn't for Burley, I feel like Andy and April wouldn't be together. He's like, literally, he's in their house. He uses their vacation house for the honeymoon. And he like has dates at the house, the weddings like there's so much that I feel like wouldn't happen without Burley. But he emailed me back, Burley in real life, Andrew Burlinson, and he said this was a fun one, but a little bittersweet for me because of that whole scene that got cut. But and then he said, I think Rivers wasn't available for that one, so they had to throw in an extra to take his place maybe, but he really doesn't remember. But just a friendly reminder that they do record all of these songs and like they're actually singing and playing. This one, I don't know who it was written by, but you have to look up the lyrics. It's so funny. It's actually, this was one of the ones not written by Mark Rivers. It's actually called Two Birds Holding Hands, and it's supposed to be April and Andy are the two birds. They practice them at a space in North Hollywood, by the way. They record them, then do the show kind of like music video style. By the way, Alan Yang is the one that sings like the background of Soar All Over That Place, which I think is really cute. There are lyrics for this online, so I'll post it on the stories. But I just thought that was really fascinating.
That is, yeah, that's great. Burley also gets to sing some in this one too.
Oh, yeah. He sings background as well.
Yeah.
And then he gets to sing more like later on.
Yes.
In the series, which is really fun. I like that Andy's talking about Tom being the best man, which is really nice. And Tom really needs that. And he's like, ladies, he's single. You're not still married, but you're straight. John Ralphio's just a friend. I love that so much.
I love that. Especially the check-in on John Ralphio.
Yes, totally. I'm sure lots of people wonder that. And then this is where we get to what you were talking about, where he's like, seriously, life is short. Like, you should just do whatever makes you happy. And Leslie looks at Ben and the camera catches it, which is so beautiful. And he says that whole thing. Yeah. I can't stress how much we did not think about this. Love it.
Yeah, love it. I love that this then spawns Leslie to go say something to Ben.
Yes. Totally. Before that, sorry, there's this, April does make a speech at this point. It's deleted. I just thought it was funny. She says, okay, after her speech, she says, I'm going to hand it over to the old ball and chain. And Andy's like, honey, I think it's balls and chain.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
Oh my God. And then this is where they have that little montage during them singing this song. Tom starts to dance with someone, which is interesting. We don't know who that girl is. Ron dances with April, which is super cute, very paternal, and gives her this little awkward, cute hug thing. This is where Chris is talking to Orin about mortality, and it's like flip the switch because now Orin is freaked out by Chris.
Which I love.
I love that character choice because it's like funny that light and dark are kind of competing.
Well, and that light's winning.
Right, exactly. Love it. I also love that Eric Isenhower, the guy who played Orin, ended his voice memo with, I gotta go. Because that's what he says in this scene. And then April and Leslie, they have this really cute moment, this sign of growth with April, where she's like, I just want to say you're awesome and I love you and I'm really glad you're here. And Leslie's so touched by it. I think it's so cute.
It is. It's very nice.
Okay, then we get to where you're talking about where Harris asks Ben, like, what's the deal with April? Is she down to clown? And Ben's like, she just got married. Yeah. Oh, that's the same girl from The Thing. All the good ones are taken, huh, bro? And then that camera does a great swing to Leslie. And I love that. If you notice, like Leslie swung. What's the past tense? Leslie swings to Ben first, the camera, and now Ben is swinging back to Leslie. It's so calculated, so perfect. This is also where behind Harris there's a mannequin thing with a hat on it, and it's very strange.
Weird stuff going on in that house.
Yeah. And then, Ben goes up to Leslie and says, you should stay. Don't go back to Indianapolis. You've made a lot of friends here, met a lot of people. You should stay. I like this, like, you're going to go back to hacking up people's budgets. Like, stay and help us build something. I like that line.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's great.
And I'm really proud of Leslie for actually saying it. I think she was honestly inspired by the wedding, even though she probably wouldn't admit that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we find out that, alas, Ben has already accepted the job. She didn't have to say it for him to stay. He already knew, which is very cute. And
I think that gives her peace, though, too.
Yeah, totally.
He had made the choice on his own.
He reciprocates. For sure.
Yeah.
Then they have that cute little running moment where Orin is right behind him, right behind Ben, and he's like, Orin's right behind me, isn't he? But Orin to me is harmless, I feel. He's creepy, but do we think he'd actually kill somebody? He'd kill animals probably, like a cat, like his mom said, or April's mom said, but I don't think he'd kill anybody. Well, that's just me. Maybe that's what he wants you to think.
I don't know, but in behavioral health, we typically look, and if there are kids that hurt animals, you're right. They're tracked now. There's a tracking system now that if kids are reported hurting animals, they stay on a list because it's so highly likely that they'll turn into a murderer. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I underestimated Orin.
Yeah.
Whoops.
However, April's mom said dead birds, but we don't know if he killed them or if he just found the dead bird and left it there.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
So that's also something I can see him doing.
I think it's funny that he got a note to not be a vampire because it feels like he is a vampire.
It kind of does with how he's dressed and how he kind of hangs out in the corner by himself.
Yeah.
So,
oh well.
I don't know. I get that they just didn't want it to come off too strong, especially with all the other like shows and stuff at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe so.
But.
Well, now we're back at the Parks Department. The shoe shine stand. Well, do you have anything before that? Okay. The shoe shine stand has a sign on it that says "Gone on Honeymoon," which is super cute and very homemade, made in some construction paper type situation in the shape of a heart. Anne is reading her text from all the dudes at singles night, and Donna is helping her type out their response. I love that women help other women do this. It's great.
I love to see that connection outside of the date night too. Like they're continuing on their connection.
Yes. Love that of like, Donna's like, now you text back. I'm sorry, who is this? Isn't that what she says? Something like that? Some of like, Anne won't remember this person.
Oh yeah. Who is this again? Or something like that. Yeah.
But then we get to see a video from Andy and April on the honeymoon. Like I said, I think it's so funny that their whole life is made by Burley, basically, because they're at Burley's family vacation house on Lake Michigan, which is very cute. Roberta sucks at water skiing, which is really hilarious to me that he says that.
Yeah.
And apparently we find out that Ron and Leslie made a bet that if they're still together, they owe each other money. So apparently Leslie owes Ron $20.
Yeah. I think Ron, it's weird that Ron is more the romantic here than Leslie. Like he sees it lasting longer.
I honestly, that tracks for me. Ron is such a romantic, like, impulse. And Leslie's like, no, we have to think this through. And the only time she becomes impulsive is with Ben. Every other time is logical, you know? And even with Ben, she's thinking about it a lot. That's why they don't really immediately start dating. You know what I mean? Well, did you have any other notes?
Nope, that's it.
Awesome. Well, that was April and Andy's fancy party. Thank you so much for joining us. Next week will be Thanksgiving. So we hope that you have a lovely Thanksgiving time with your friends, family, chosen family, or if you want to spend it by yourself, or if you are spending it by yourself, we are sending you love and joy and hope and all that good stuff. If you haven't rated or reviewed, please let us know. And by please let us know, I mean review us and put 5 stars on there, please. Follow us on Instagram too. All the good things. But we'll see you in December, which is crazy to say that that's coming up.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah. Well, we hope that you have a lovely week. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.
Hey guys, we have a little bit of a bonus for you for this episode. I sat down with Miss Annie O'Donnell, who played Elsa Clack in the camping episode, and we talked all about all things The Quiet Corn, which is the Airbnb in the camping episode. How she got her audition, time on set, just all the things, and it was really interesting and cool to talk to her. Her voice is so lovely, and I just couldn't imagine anyone else playing that part. So please take a listen and also follow her new movie that's going to be coming out, Two Lives in Pittsburg, and I'll make sure to post everything and put everything in the show notes. But thank you so much to Annie, and please enjoy our conversation.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm sorry I'm a little late. Things happen.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine. Well, I'll go ahead and get started with some questions, and that way we can just get you on and about your day. I really appreciate you being here.
Oh, I'm happy to be here, Holly. It's fun.
Thank you. Well, I was going to ask, my first question that we ask everybody really is, what do you remember about your audition, or do you remember anything about the audition for How You Got Elsa?
Well, it's kind of hard to remember from 11 years ago, but I remember what I wore, and I think that helped me to get the job because I ended up wearing what I wore in the show.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So I had several of my friends had already auditioned for the part, and they weren't quite satisfied, and it was just kind of a lucky combination of things. I had the look, the voice, the skills, whatever. But I think there was a lot of visual to it, and I wore it's kind of a dress I bought from a commercial that I did years and years and years ago. Very kind of gray with little spots on it and a white lace collar, that look. Well, you've seen it in the show. So, and then I had this sort of odd sweater that was striped in a kind of bold way, which I think helped me get my part on The Big Bang Theory. Because it was,
oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah, it was the kind of thing I had looked at what Amy's character had worn on the show, and I was auditioning to be her mother, and she was dressed oddly, with like plaids and stripes and whatever. So that much I remember, and I had my hair pulled back and all, and in a ponytail, a little kind of bun-like ponytail, and glasses. I think I probably wore like wire rim glasses or something. But that much
totally
I kind
fit
of
the
remember.
Part.
Yes, I kind of remember, and it was, I just kind of gave a quirky reading, which she certainly, Elsa Clack was certainly quirky, to say the least. So that's kind of what I remember about it, and the audition was in Hollywood, and the people were very nice, and I think the whole audition was on tape with the casting director. I don't remember, the Amy Poehler or any of the producers or directors being there. That's kind of what I remember about it. And
That's
I talk
so cool.
a lot, don't I?
No, I love it. We want all the information. Like I said before we hopped on here, I definitely want all the information. I love all the behind the scenes. And I was going to ask about the wardrobe anyway, so I'm glad that kind of just came up naturally.
Oh, yeah. And I think I wore that same outfit. Well, I didn't wear it in the scene where I'm, where they wake me up from sleeping and I come out with the door with the cat. I think that was their robe. But I think I had that dress on for the whole show, but I can't quite remember if I was wearing that when I was playing the harpsichord or not.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. So many questions about that. Well, speaking of the cats and the house and all that stuff, they were so insane and so funny to see the cats everywhere and you holding one. Do you remember if you were told like in advance that you were going to be with cats or that was a part of it?
Yeah, I think the script mentioned that, that the house was full of cats and that she was holding one. And luckily, I love cats. So.
Good.
And I have.
You're not allergic.
I'm not allergic, and I have often been cast as a cat lady. I think. Oh, the other thing I may have worn to the audition, it just dawned on me. I have this very odd pin, like not I wouldn't call it a brooch, but a decorative pin that you wear in your clothes. And someone, I can't even remember where I got it. I think someone gave it to me as a joke or something. But it's very large, and it's the head of a cat.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like furry, and it's like it's very large for something to wear on your clothing. I would say it's I'm not good at numbers, but I would say it's probably 2 or 3 inches tall, and it's literally a fake head of a cat in fur. And I think I probably wore that often if I am auditioning for a cat lady part. I wear that.
What a perfect character choice, though.
Oh, it makes you laugh just to see it. It's a very.
That's my dream. I want to play a crazy cat lady because I love cats so much.
Oh, you do, yeah. And I don't even have them, but I love them.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so cute. Well, do you have any memories of being on set that day? Like anything that sticks out to you as far as working with the cast or the crew or the writing or anything that you said?
See. I do remember that everyone was very lovely and very friendly. And I remember going over and I guess near the coffee or something and chatting with Amy and with Aubrey. And they were both very lovely. And I had seen Aubrey in a film. I can't remember what it was, but she was very good in it, and I mentioned that to her, and then one of those moments, and Amy's there, and she's such a fabulous performer and star, and I just said, and you're wonderful in everything you do, but they were both very sweet and lovely. Everybody was very friendly. And it was a lot of fun, and the house was just amazing. I can't remember where it was. I'm assuming it may have been like in Pasadena, California, because they have that kind of architecture there. But
they said I think I was listening. I was listening to something that one of the crew was talking about, or I researched it, and it is in Pasadena. You're right.
Oh,
about
good. I remember. I thought I remembered that because that's where you find all those fabulous houses.
And that's I think one of the few houses I feel that's not a set, because most of the houses on the show, like Ann's house and Leslie's house, are all sets inside, right. But on the outside, obviously, they're, real houses that they want to show. But on the inside, they usually are on a set. So that's really cool. They use the actual house.
Yeah, it was. And like you said, it was unusual, because like when I did NCIS, the house that was another cat lady part. The house that I lived in was just the front. There was no house. It was on the back lot of Universal Studios, so that once I talked to the people in the scene, I closed the door and was sitting there basically on the floor of nothing, But you're right. I hadn't really thought much about that, but it is unusual, and it was kind of fun to be in that place. It was very quirky, as you recall.
Definitely. Well, were the cats nice, and were there cat wranglers kind of things?
Sure.
How did that work?
Yeah, sure. There were cat wranglers. And they were fine. There weren't any scratches taking place, and they were fun. It was the one that I was carrying was a little heavy. It was a little awkward carrying he or she. I can't him or her. I can't quite remember. But no, the cats were great. They had a good cat wrangler, and they were, it was crazy.
Do you remember if the decorations in the house were actually in there already, or did they bring in that? Like, there was weird looking dolls and like doilies and all that stuff. I wonder if they brought that in.
I have a feeling that there was a certain amount of quirkiness, but I'm speaking out of school because I really don't know, but I'm guessing that they brought in a lot of the really odd stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
speaking of odd stuff, the harpsichord was amazing. Not that it's odd, but it was really amazing to see. Do you remember if you were actually playing that or where they got it, or do you have any information about that?
Well, when I was a child, I played the organ very briefly in church, maybe once, and I think I think that was enough for them. But I did study piano as a child. I was never good at it, but I thought, well, maybe I can play this. But there just wasn't time to learn it, and I really no. So I knew how to look like I was playing it, but luckily they were not photographing me actually. My hands attached to my face playing it. Yeah. So
it's so crazy because harpsichords are just so rare, I feel, especially now. So I was just imagining how they found it and if you saw them bringing it in or whatever. I'm sure everything was already set up for you when you were there.
Yeah, it was already set up. But, I'm trying to remember. I'm just blanking out now what I was playing. Do you remember what I was playing?
No, you know what? I'm going to look it up right now because I can look it up and it's pretty easy. But it's one of the songs that you would learn in like a piano lesson.
Yeah. I knew it was something familiar, but my mind is blanking on what it was right now. But,
and I think it's funny too because this isn't really like pertinent, I suppose, but there was a scene where at the end where Ben, the lead character, says that your character died right after you played the harpsichord. And I was like, I don't want her to die.
It was very random, and I was a little upset because it was not in the original script. The writer was there. A young African American woman, as I recall, wrote the script. She was very lovely.
Uh-huh.
And when you work on a popular show, in the back of your mind, you always think, oh, okay, now is there any possibility that this character and situation could come back? And I thought, well, it's possible because the quiet corn was kind of in their area. It wasn't like it was in another state or something. It wasn't really far from where they all lived and worked. So I thought, well, maybe they'll somehow end up back here at some time. And then when he said that, I went, oh no.
I know. Well, they always have.
He just killed me. He just killed.
I know. Well, they always have really funny, like alternates, if you will. Like they'll on the day of, they'll always, and you know this from working in TV. But like, I was when we were reviewing this episode, I was telling my sister who was reviewing it with me. I was like, I don't need that. I think that she should stay alive for like a really long time. I must admit, I'm Amy Poehler. I'm upset that I was killed. but yeah, that's okay. You played your part very well.
Thank you.
You'll live on forever.
Thank you. I had fun, but it did crack. It did sort of. I went, oh no.
I know.
And I can't remember.
Okay, I looked it up.
Oh yeah.
And the song. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You can't remember what?
Oh, I was just going to say I can't quite remember. I think I heard him say the line on the set, even though he was isolated. I think I knew then that I was dead afterwards.
Dang it! Okay, well, you're not dead to me, so that's fine.
Good. Okay,
the song that we're playing is I can't remember what it's called, but it's the one that you play in all your piano lessons where it's like
oh yeah, there's something. It's
Ode to something.
Ode to joy, maybe, or something like that.
Ode to joy. I think that's
right?
what it is. Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, good. Sing it, Holly. I know you're a singer. So that was that. Yeah, but that was my one disappointment when I heard him say that line. I went, oh no.
I know.
I
was going to ask too. Do you remember if they asked you to say tomato like tomato, or did you decide to do that?
I think that was a choice that I made because I think she was so odd that
it's so perfect
that I think that's I'm quite sure I made that decision to say that because she's trying to be fancy,
right,
and she's explaining this fabulous menu.
Yes,
she has.
And German muffins.
German muffins.
My gosh.
Well, that was that. I had the hard time not laughing at when he says, "What the is German muffin?"
Yes, what the F is a German muffin?
Yes.
Oh my gosh! I also love how you played it being kind of like snarky with April or
with
Aubrey.
Aubrey's
like, "What if you wake up at a normal time?" And you're like, "That would be incredibly
very rude." Yeah, and I went. We had a Parks and Recreation had an event at SAG, and they were all there, and April, well, Aubrey was, she remembered that so well, she said, oh God, she remembered that interchange.
I love that so much. Did they explain anything to you from your memory? I'm sure it was just a writer's choice, but from like why it was called the Quiet Corn or anything like that?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so. Just another.
I mean, I know it was in Indiana, so it's very corn heavy up there. Yeah.
And I don't think they did. I think it was just an odd, like so many things on the show, was just a quirky, odd choice of something. Mm-hmm. But I love the sign in front of the place, and it was just fun. It was just fun.
Yes. I love that. Well, do you have any other memories or anything else that you'd like to share? I feel like we covered so much of it, which I love. But I'd love to hear more if you have anything.
I do remember the last scene when Ben is trying to get out of there when I'm playing the harpsichord, and he
yes,
but Jim O'Here's character, Jim O'Here, is just loving it. So that was kind of fun. He was enjoying every moment of being in the Quiet Corn, I think, but I just forgot his character name.
Jerry.
Jerry. But yeah, I remember that very well.
I love that too, where everyone else is really like disturbed almost by this place, but Jerry is just so at home and comfortable, and he loves it with all the cats. He's literally holding a cat.
Yes, it was very cute. I'm trying to think if I have anything else that I can't think. We covered a lot of you. Any other questions? I will try to rack my brain to answer them.
But
that was fun.
It always happens. Yeah, I mean, that was fun. It always happens, though, where, like, I have questions, but we get to the answer before I even ask them because of just the way that, it works. So I'm so happy that you brought up the wardrobe and the harpsichord, and it was just so lovely to talk to you.
Oh, it's great to talk to you. And, and I'm glad we did it this way, because if it was email, there's no way we'd get as much detail.
I agree.
And I'm a talker, not a writer.
Absolutely. Same here.
Yeah. So,
Well, yeah, I'll let you know if anyone has any other questions and we can, pick your brain. But I think this was wonderful, and I'm really happy that you spent some time, and we're really grateful to you. My co-host, also Maddie, says hi, and she thanks you just as much as me. So we really appreciate your time, and we love Elsa Clack very much.
Thank you. Can I plug something?
Please, oh my gosh, yes. What do you have?
Well, I did a...
You're shooting now, right?
I shot something last week and the week before, and this past week and this coming week I'm shooting something, but they're both NDA. I can't talk about them.
Gotcha.
But the thing I want to talk about is I did a fabulous movie, which hopefully will be coming out soon. I couldn't talk about it for a long time, but it's on IMDb. It's listed on IMDb now, and we have a website, and it's being submitted to all the festivals and so forth now. So I'm assuming I can talk about it now. It's called 2 Lives in Pittsburg, and it's a wonderful, wonderful script. And I have the best part on film that I've ever done in my life in it. And it's I play the grandmother of a child, a young boy who identifies as a girl. And we're a working class family, and we're trying to make sense of it. And it's just beautifully, beautifully written. And I get to do everything in it. It's funny, and it's heartbreaking, and it's just lovely. So keep your eye open for it. It's called 2 Lives in Pittsburg, and we filmed it in Pittsburg last summer. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Or is it already out?
Well, it's not out. It's just being submitted now to Sundance and various places, and we're keeping our fingers crossed. And then we'll be looking for, the producer, director, writer, Brian Silverman, who is one of the loveliest people you'd ever get to meet. He wrote the script, he produced it, directed it, and he plays my son in it. And it's just so keep your eyes open for it. It may be a little while before it comes out, but here's hoping, because it's something that people will really need to see. It's beautifully done, and it's very timely, and
Lovely. Well, thank you so much for plugging that. I will definitely keep my eyes open, and when we see the information, you can always email me, and I'll post it.
Sure, that'd be great. I will do that. Well, it was wonderful talking with you, Holly, and this was a lot of fun, as I knew it would be.
It was so good. Yay! Thank you so much, Annie. We really appreciate you so much. This was awesome. We'll keep in touch.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Have a good rest of your Sunday.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
Bye.
There's a Parkinson Pals, and there's also therapy too.